bring it up 2 foot and pitch up towards the bank around any kind of brush. It was almost immediate too. Hang on a minute, I'll help you. I believe it's a damn catfish. I don't care, but I didn't get skunked. That's what it is. Nah. Well, yeah, I will too. This is a real light line. He's not a big catfish, but I don't want to break my jig off in his mouth. That's one of them hand-tied jigs. Alright.
Decent size.
Oh yeah, he's a keeper.
Easy to eat.
Yeah, I can eat him. Okay, well that kind of tells me something. Got the skunk off the boat, didn't we, Paw Paw?
There you go.
Look here what he's got in his mouth. Nice little channel cat. Little hand tied and fried.
You didn't have no worm on there?
No, just an empty jig. About 2, well, you see how deep I am. I flipped over against that brush and off it went.
I think that little red bead,
Yeah.
it moved right down.
Well, that's where it's supposed to be. That's the bead. The stop is on up there. But I'm going to show you how to shorten it up. Now look. Good morning, y'all. Rodney here. We caught one catfish. I put him on ice, give you a little background, in a cooler. Got the one. I'm not going to fillet. I'm going to do a cooking video with this guy. Whole. I'm going to show you how the first way I learned to clean catfish anyway. This was left in a fish cooler with ice overnight. Something I picked up at Food Line Zone Markdown. I'm going to have me a little ice coffee before I get started because I ain't shaking bad enough yet. I've got my water out. Got a bowl to put him in, carry him in, wash him up. Probably let him soak a little while before I actually cook him. The only tools I'm using today is this old timer. I've had that a while. Let's skin a bunch of deer, clean a bunch of squirrels, clean a bunch of fish, and a pair of cheap skinning pliers from Walmart. You can get by with a pair of regular old pliers if you want to. You see my cleaning station. It's an ironing board, y'all. Get you one. They're pretty handy to use. Tasty, tasty. Let me grab that fish and let's get on with it. Let me reposition my camera so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, I believe I've got that angle about right. Go and get this bad boy out of here. Ooh, that water's cold this morning. It is early morning. Hope y'all having a good day so far. I am. That was a pretty small cooler. That was my bait cooler. Had him iced down in, so he's kind of disformed and stiff. So first thing I'm going to do is loosen him up a little bit. Grab me a towel real quick and wipe my hands. We don't want no slippage. Working early in the morning with a sharp knife. Maybe it's sharp, I don't know. It's been a while since I sharpened it. This little channel cat, that's all it is. And I believe I have a skill enough big enough to cook him whole. That's the plans anyway. All I want to do is make a couple cuts right here across the head. Down through there. Just trying to cut the skin. So I'm pull it off of him. Not doing a real good job this morning. Y'all have to forgive me, I'm old. I've got a lot of nerve damage from things, but I believe that'd be enough to get a hold of the skin with that pair of pliers. That's all we need to do right now anyway. You got to get a firm grip on them. Get me a first little piece pulled off there, it'll start to come pretty easy most of the time. Watch it make a lighter out of me. I do have a bucket over here, a little bit of water in the bottom of it so it doesn't stick, so I can feed the neighborhood cats. Yeah, there went my bowl. This is this is live, y'all. Stuff happens. You know what they say, but it's coming off pretty easy. Got one piece I'll have to bend over and pick up when we get through, but I want you to see this part of the process. Even an old weak man can do it. I know you can do it. Not that hard. Beautiful. That is beautiful. That is a cleaned fish. Let me grab my bucket and pick up this piece of skin. I'll show you what we're going to do next. Basically what we're going to do is cut the head off. And remove his entrails. I just set my bucket on the back of the truck for now. I don't want to chase it anymore. What I want to do, I just want to start pushing down there through my knife. There's a real hard bone. You'll feel it stop somewhere in there. You'll waste a little bit of head meat. Not that big deal. Come up right about under here. Cut that belly. I'll trim that off. Now you can see his guts. I hadn't punctured anything. But that bone there, you've got to break it. You got to hatchet. You can hatchet it. If you bend it back, you hear it, and you can give it a twist. Now we can get in there with a knife and cut it. Maybe. Yep. And you'll see the head comes away from the body pretty much with nearly all of his entrails. That little bit of butthole will come out when I do this next cut. That's all you got to throw away. Not much waste here. And I'll show you how to eat it once we get it cooked up. I'll take my knife here, come up in here, open him up all the way to the butthole. See that butthole right there where my thumb's at? Pointing right there. I want that knife to come out of there. Don't cut towards yourself, I can tell you that right now. Now we got him fully opened up where we can reach in there and get the last of that. There we go. I'll scrape the rest of that. He's got his bladder here that needs to come out. His swim bladder. A little bit of goodies up in there in the backside. I should have brought a spoon, but I'll reach in here and pull it out with the pliers. There we go. I'm fixing to rinse him off anyway. That's why I got this hose here. There it comes. Once you break that stomach membrane, all of that usually just comes right on out with the pliers. But remember this, all this is still on this side of the bone. We're not eating the bones up, but I'm going to show you how he just slides off of it when he's done right. He's also going to need I'll explain here in just a minute. He's also going to need a couple slats down each side to help him cook evenly. Let me rinse all this off. I'm going to move my pouch out the way. I don't want to get it wet. Get the phalanges clean first. Wash them down. And I'm going to wash them again in the sink in there after it soaks for a little bit. I want to wash all that off before I made my cuts I was just talking about. That's good enough. That's the table off. That's all that off a little bit. Now, the backside of this fish, missed the spot. Backside of this fish is a lot thinner than this front part. You see how it's thicker. When I'm cooking that in a skillet, and I'm not going to deep fry it, it's going to be skillet fried. I want it to cook evenly. So I come up here with a knife, just put me some hash marks down through there. Like so. Flip them over and do the other side. Perfect. One more little final rinse. He's ready to be rolling some cornmeal and fries. Let me grab my bowl now. Too small of a bowl, but I'm going to cover that with water and put him in an ice box until I get everything cleaned up. All right, I'm going to finish my wash up out here. Wash down my ironing board and put everything away. Go get rid of these head and entrails for the cats. We got a neighborhood full of them. Love them. Sometimes. Poppy loves them too. He loves to chase them and bark. All right, we're going to get this cleaned up. Y'all join me in the kitchen when we get ready to cook. Okay, I think you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, after bringing the fish in, I realized my skillet wasn't big enough. So what I've done, I've cut it in two pieces. I'm going to cook that tail piece first because that's what I want for breakfast. It's still in the water. It's been washed again. This is what I bred with, guys. Andy's golden fish batter. Now they have instructions on the back to make a batter, but I don't use it as a batter. I use it as a breader. You can use it as is. It needs no other seasoning. But I'm going to hit that fish with just a little bit of salt inside and out. A little bit, not much. Because the batter there already has seasoning in it enough. And I've used it just straight out of the pack just fine. But I am going to hit it heavy with that black pepper. I like pepper. Let's get that step done. I should tell you off camera that I have my skillet heating up gradually while this is letting it get a little batter soaked in it. We'll hit it with the salt first. Just lightly, not much. Don't cut that off full away. That is the best part. That's where I start eating right there. I know I'm crazy. But that's, man, like fish tater chip. Eat it with black pepper good. You can't get too much black pepper on there. Not for this old boy. Let me get that top cut off right quick. I generally, if I'm doing a lot of fish, I dump this out in a bowl or a bag and throw my fish in there and shake it up. Heat him a little bit of that. Pack that in there. Flip him over. Heat a little more. Make sure to get it on that tail good. He's all in there. I don't see no wet spots. You see what I'm doing here? This ain't rocket science. This is country cooking. The way Granny showed you how. I believe he's fine. We're going to let him sit there while my grease is getting hot. Put all this away and kind of clean up behind myself. I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can't. But I got dishes that I washed still over there in the drainer. Anyway, let me wash my hands up here and we'll get back on when this grease gets hot. Oh, by the way, being as it is a breakfast meal, I ain't eating nothing but fish and some redneck cornbread. This is tortillas that I've got here at the house already opened. I need to use them up. I'm going to fry a couple of them to go with that fish. I'm not going to fry them real crisp, just crisp around the edges and chewy in the middle. That's the way I like them. I'll show you the texture after they get done and I start eating. That way I can show you how to pull that off the bone and eat it without getting a bone in your throat. Much easier to do off of a whole fish than one that's cut up. Then the bones go everywhere. But we know that skeleton right now is intact. All right, y'all hang with me. All right, we about got this oil heated up, just a vegetable oil. I fried it in a couple times. It's about 351. That's close enough. Let's start a tortilla in there. Again, I'm not trying to get these real crisp. I want it a little bit chewy. Try it that way sometimes. Takes the rawness out of it. Gives a little bit of fat on it. Makes them taste good. If you ain't ever had it, you gotta try this one time before you throw the hate on me. I don't care. Throw anything on me. I don't care. All I'm looking for here is just get a little brown around the edge. You see, already starting to poof up a little bit. I'm working it with that fork to make sure it gets into some of that hot oil on the backside there before I flip it. Still a little bit pliable. I'm gonna let it get a little bit more on there. There ain't no editing on this part. You can see exactly how long I do this. Now I'm starting to see that pick up right there. That tells me it's getting close. I'm pointing at stuff with my fork like you guys know what the heck I'm talking about. Y'all laugh with me, not at me. I appreciate y'all watching my videos. I'm enjoying the comments and the likes and the shares. I appreciate it, y'all, so much. All of you, each and every one of you. I will tell you this entire video is being dedicated to Tammy. Tammy, don't you fuss at me, but I'm going to attempt to pronounce your last name. I think it is Tsukiyama. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just no country boy. That's getting pretty close right there. And that's all I want to do with it. Again, I'm not wanting to brown it. I'm just wanting to heat it up good. It's got a little bit of texture to it. You can see it's kind of hanging. I'm gonna lay it over here on a paper towel and let that drain. I'm gonna get these other two done and then we'll get back to the fish. Y'all hang with me. It's gonna be good, y'all. Okay, we've got the tortillas done. We've got the catfish headed in. Catfish headed in. Lay them in gently, away from yourself. That's what you want to see. You want to see them sizzling. Let me wipe my hands here a little bit. I don't know how long we're going to cook him. I cook by the seat of my pants. I like that TLAR method myself, that TLAR. That looks about right. I kind of watch for doneness, crispness, sound of the sizzle to know when to flip him. Don't flip him too soon or you'll lose your crust. That batter's good, but it won't stay on there if you go to fooling with him too soon. You want it to set. And that's what it's doing right now in that hot oil. I wish you could smell this house. Man, I wasn't even hungry. I wasn't going to eat breakfast. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and knock this video on out. Going to knock it on out. Really had a good time on the water yesterday. It's hard to believe that just 2 days prior to yesterday, fishing 11 hours to catch this one catfish, we went out to a different lake. We went up to Bugs Island. I've got video out on that. Where me and two other fellows put 75 crappie in the boat. That's a 3-man limit. Don't hate. We also picked up about 16 catfish. We only kept 7 of them, I think. We ended up with 8 pounds of catfish fillets and I had, don't doubt me on this because I weighed it and measured it out and bagged it up so I could evenly split it. Look at the color on that. See how that opened up right there and got all that done? Anyway, we ended up with 15 pounds of crappie fillets. That's going to provide a lot of food for a lot of people. We will be sharing that. We'll be doing a fish fry, and I'll get that on video. Let me get these tortillas stacked up and out the way, because I'm going to lay Mr. Catfish right there on that paper. Once I take him up, and you can see this is not edited, this part either. This is real-time cooking. You can see about how long it takes to get him to where he needs to be done. I'll move everything over to the kitchen table and share a little bit of how to get him off that bone. Once you see how easy it is, I encourage you to try this. When you cook one whole like this, of course this ain't whole, this is about a half of him. Keep a little bit smaller so they'll fit in your skillet. Once you try it though, you'll never go back to just plain fillets unless you're just being lazy. And I do sometimes, everybody does. Love my fillets too. But it just hits different when it's cooked on the bone. It's got a different flavor, a little bit different texture. It's awesome stuff. I haven't, if I want to know what the other side's doing, I'll grab this fin, pick him up and peek. I know that he's getting close. He's getting real close. We're gonna let him go just another minute or two. Y'all hang with me. I'll try not to rush too quick to get him to the table, because that's gonna have to cool down a little bit. I'll be darn burnt my lips. Of course, y'all know Poppy's gonna get him a little sniglet of it. I gotta get him on film for you guys one day, up close and personal. Let you meet who Poppy really is. Poppy's been my lifesaver. He's been with me through the last 10 years of a lot of things happening in my life, including losing my wife. He's the only reason that got me up out of bed a bunch of mornings where I just didn't feel like getting up. He's the one that snapped me out of it, realizing, hey, nobody's coming to rescue me, but that dog can't take care of himself. You've got to get up and get your ass moving. So I'm trying to throw a little bit out there to you if you're facing hard times and having a hard time. Remember, somebody's depending on you or needing you in some form or fashion. Keep going. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, look, nobody's coming to rescue me. Get up and take care of yourself. Don't give up. Don't ever give up, folks. I think that's enough of my preaching. I believe that fish is about ready to come up and hit the plate. I believe it's ready to come up and hit the plate. Let me go ahead and turn that fire off. Slide my spatula up underneath that bad boy. See if I can do this without dropping anything or hurting anything. I shake so bad. Let all of it drain off. All right, got down to the drip. Let's slide him over there. Look at that, y'all. Can y'all see that? Can't wait till I taste that tater chip right there. All right, we'll be back as soon as we get the table set up. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessings that you put here in front of me. Thank you for the ability to catch my own food. Thank you for blessing me with food. Nourish my body, Lord. Heal my soul. Keep my mind intact. We thank you for your blessings. All right. People my age would know what I'm fixing to say here, but this is the money shot. In one genre of the film industry, you'd get that. Let me show you the tortilla first. Yep, that's about right. You see it doesn't break all the way through. It's crisp on that outside edge, but the middle is al dente, real al dente. But I like that chomping and chewing. Delicious stuff. I'm going in with my favorite part. He's still a little bit warm. I know y'all can hear that crunch. I know y'all hear it. My goodness. Now, I usually start down on this end, just start picking and pulling. If it's too hot, or if you're afraid of this right here, you can actually get a hold of this bone and pull back this way, and the whole thing should just pop out of there, just like that right there. You can eat that too, but I don't normally. Let's taste it and see what it tastes like. That's a little bit thicker than those, so I wouldn't recommend going too deep in it. But that is delicious. You can do the same thing on this little one up here. It's still a little warm, so I'm going to do this with a fork. Well, let's try it with my hand, just show you what I'm talking about. No, that's still too hot. Take your fork, and rake it. You see that left that bone? You'll see it here in a minute. There ain't no bones in that. That's pure meat. And it is hot, and it is delicious. Oh my goodness. Man, there ain't nothing like eating fish off the bone. You see all that bone still just laying there. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't gonna jump in your mouth. I'll throw a tip out there though. If you're afraid of getting a bone in your throat, there's nothing on here big enough to really hang up too bad. Bone. Let it go. Keep you a piece of bread or something else to chew that's got some bulk to it. If you get a small bone or something hung in your throat, grab your piece of bread and chomp into it and chew it up and swallow it. I guarantee it'll clear the throat and take it on down. That phone just ain't gonna shut up, is it? It finally shut up. Man, that is some good chomping. Well, I'm not gonna keep you any longer watching me being such a messy eater. But I'm gonna pick that clean. Actually, let me flip it over to the other side and get that other piece of tail, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now I'm reaching here and pinch it. Now, ain't no bones in that stuff I'm pulling off. That's what it'll look like all the way to the front end when I get done. But I'm going to finish chomping this off. I appreciate you guys watching, each and every one of you. Tammy, I hope you enjoyed this today. Hope you have a good day. You're still on my prayer list. I'm praying for you, hon. But be sure to give me a thumbs up and a like, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. And I really appreciate it. I'm really trying to get to 1,000 viewers so I can afford to fish a little bit more. It ain't going to pay my bills. I know that. I'm not looking to get rich, but I would like to pick up a little fishing money. It'd be small potatoes. Anyway, thanks for watching. God bless and tight lines, y'all.